Welcome back to another video. My name is Abby and thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or haven't done so already, don't forget to hit the subscribe. It's gonna let you know when I release new stuff. And if you like this video, remember to like it and let's get started. So what are we talking about today? We're talking about the power of your attention and how it can dramatically change your success in your life right now. So your attention, everyone has a certain amount of attention, whether you use it wisely or poorly, or if it helps you or doesn't help you, whatever it is, at some part of the day, your attention is on different things. What Neville teaches us, and that what we know already, is that the more you focus in on something, the more you draw in your attention. We can also take that as focus. When you focus on something, that thing, by default, relatively to your world, it becomes bigger because it is taking up more and more of your time and its brain space. You're focusing on it. So by default, you're going to actually push things out. And that's when the more attention that you focus on something, the more attention you give it, the more forceful it becomes. So if you think about a crowded room and there's 5 different people and you had a balloon, the more you put air or water, whatever it is, into that balloon, it's going to force people out. And you can think of those people as thoughts. So the more you consume, the more you focus on this one idea, this one goal, the more you're able to make it force out those things that are actually distracting you and keeping you from it. And Neville himself says the secret to success is focusing your attention on feeling the fulfillment already done. So whatever it is, whether it's a goal about your body, about money, about your job, about a relationship, you feel what it's like to already have that experienced reality. What would it be like? Who would you need to be? And you put your attention there. The more and more you do this, the more and more you will already live in that reality, and you will actually draw that reality into your life. Again, the more you're gonna put your effort into this, the more it's going to be all you think about, all you're doing, because you're feeling it already experienced. Your attention and focus is going on it. So everything else, all the distractions and stuff like that, or that are keeping you from your current success, they're actually going to disappear. Because regardless if they're there or not, because you don't see them, because they're outside of your realm, they might as well not even exist, because you have your attention on this desired reality, on this feeling. Another thing about your attention is the more and more you focus on something, the more and more you can confine that idea, that feeling of your wish fulfilled. And I like to think about it as a circle. So if you have this desire, you have this dream, and you know what that dream feels like, and you're spending time focusing on it, well, you're starting, the more you do that, the more you're kind of circling it, bringing it out, isolating it from all the other possibilities that you don't really want to experience or that you are currently experiencing. And by pouring more of your attention into that, you're circling it and confining it and bringing it to you. It's important to realize that ideas are not brought into reality by chance. They're not even brought into reality by desire. Ideas are brought into reality by the exclusive attention that is focused on them. So realize that. You have something in your life, a dream job, an amount of money, a relationship, a dream body, and you really want it right now. Currently, there's a state of resistance. If you are thinking of it, you have to shift that and think from that desire and then put your attention on that, because the proportion to which you can make that idea a reality is the proportion in which you put exclusive attention onto it, not letting all these other distractions or all these other possibilities come in and compete with it. You have to pour your attention into that idea. That is the only way that yours will become a reality, and the only way that things that are reality right now have come from an idea to this 3D world. If you want your idea to be equipped with power, the only way, the only source that that idea gets resurrected and comes up, or comes really out of the ether through us and we channel it into the world, is proportional to attention. So ideas are powered to come into the 3D, to come into reality by attention. I can't say it enough. The only way you can make your idea powerful and take it from just talking about it or thinking about it is by giving it attention. That attention will translate to more and more action because you're filling your life with more and more action. You're thinking about that wish fulfilled. You're acting as if it's already happened. So by default, your behavior is going to align with that reality because you're giving that attention, you're giving the actions as if it's already done. You're giving that idea exclusive attention and helping power it to come into reality. So an example I thought up is, imagine that you have a series of buckets, right? Just plain old buckets, whatever colors, whatever size you want to imagine. I'd imagine like maybe a 5-gallon bucket. And one bucket is your dream, that reality that you want to experience. One bucket is fears and things you do not want to experience. And the other bucket is maybe comfort, a comfortable life. It's not terrible, but it definitely is not your dream. Imagine that you have a water hose, and your water hose is actually going to represent your attention. Your eyes are going to represent how you get the water into the bucket. So again, thinking about attention, you're focused on your dreams. That water is going into the bucket. It's filling it up. Now, if you're going about and you start getting a little bit scared, you start hearing people's input, you start letting old behaviors in your past come into play, you're going to shift over to the bucket of fears, and you're going to start filling that bucket up. Even if you really want to be focusing on your dreams, because you're letting those fears come in, because you're letting these competing and conflicting ideas, you're by default giving it your attention, you're looking at it, you're focused on it. That water is going in. Again, you could then shift over maybe to those things are overwhelming. You want to get back to the comfort. You want to get back to the safety. So you're now filling that bucket. So think about it in your life right now, where your attention is going, what by default, even if you really, really want this thing to happen and you start feeling what it would feel like, and then a fear comes in and you let that take over, and then a worry comes in, and then maybe a random thought, or your friend reaches out, or you go and you do whatever other project. You're getting spread thin, and your main focus, your true desire that you really would love to experience in this life, that bucket is not getting filled because your attention is going into all these other buckets. 3 buckets is really not very many because most of us have a lot more buckets, and you can fill it in with whatever details it makes most sense in your life. The biggest thing to understand here is where you focus is where that water is going to go, is where that attention is going to go, is where that energy is going to go. You're going to bring whatever it is that water is flowing into, that attention is going into, you're going to bring that into reality. So if it is your fear, you're going to make that more real than anything else, even if it started with an idea. Again, what powers ideas is attention. So if it is, I just don't want bad things to happen, so I'm going to think of all the worst case scenarios, all the things that would be really bad so that I can prepare myself, then you're going to be focusing on that and giving that attention. And again, attention gives it power. And I'm not saying to go about and be completely naive about different things, but there's a difference between focusing purely on what bad thing could happen and setting a very solid plan and thinking about that end and thinking about how you can really pull yourself from now to there. Thinking from there, pulling yourself to that. What does it require? Who would you need to be? How would you need to move about the world? Because I guarantee it is not the person who sits there and thinks about the fears as opposed to thinking about what reality would need to exist, what actions would you have to take on, what behavior would you have to go into to fulfill, to go to that wish fulfilled. So whatever it is, whatever bucket in your life right now that you are filling, that is going to be the majority, that it's going to dominate your life. Whatever it is that you put the majority of attention into, that is going to dominate your life. It could be struggle, it could be disappointment, it could be your hopes and dreams. The attention and who decides to give it is you. You are the one responsible. So if it is, your life right now is not what you want it to be, realize that you have a responsibility, because whatever circumstances is happening outside in the world, that is only a reflection of what is happening inside of you. It is there to help show you, guide you back on path. You've gotten off the path of where your heart and your soul is asking you to go. That is a reflection. You then have that feedback and you can get back on your path. You can start putting that attention, start filling that bucket, start making that the majority of your life, and let that dominate what you're going to do by living with it already fulfilled, going throughout your day as if that was happening, being that person now. Think about nature. Nature doesn't worry about what people think about it, if it's a pretty tree or a pretty flower. Nature grows to the light. It sets its roots deep and it grows to the light. All the oldest trees, that's what they do. They don't care and they don't worry about what everyone else is doing. They worry about what is going to bring them more life. They're worried about what is going to fulfill them, and they grow that way. They don't get distracted with other things. They only ever grow to the light. So think about that right now. Growing into the light, going to that goal, that dream, what's going to make you bright and have to be this version of yourself that's more evolved and has a higher consciousness level. That's going to bring more light into the world. You are literally growing towards your light. You will be more of a light to this world. And where your attention goes, your energy flows. So just think about that, how that would be in your life, what you would need to do, and where your attention is going right now. A huge part of this is realizing where you're giving consent and accepting to be true. What is it that you're accepting to be true that contradicts your dreams and your hopes? What is keeping you from that? Is it that you're not good enough? Is it that you're not talented enough? Is it that you don't have the right circumstances in your life? Is it that you've come from a family where they struggled financially, so you won't quite possibly ever be able to financially be abundant? Is it relationship models shown to you that were very destructive and toxic, and you can't imagine what it would be like to have a successful relationship? Those are all things you're accepting to be true about your future, about what you're capable and worth. And they're not true. They are true because you accept them. But that does not make them real. So you need to go in and realize what you're giving consent and accepting to be true. Start removing those, start unraveling those beliefs, and then shift your focus. Put your focus on what is going to help you evolve, be the best person you can be. Not for the sake of anyone else but yourself, and for you to grow into who you were meant to be on this earth. So the biggest thing on this is to take that attention into the feeling of your wish fulfilled. When that is your sole focus, that focus is going to force out all other feelings, all other consciousness levels. And if you do get distracted, realize that and come back to it, and it will force it out. It will force you to look at yourself and to realize how you're not aligned now. It'll force you to heal parts of yourself that are not healed now. It'll force you to live a more peaceful life because you are focused with that desire right now. Those things that are going to help you, evolve you, and bring you into a higher state of consciousness. And therefore, what you manifest in the 3D world will represent what you truly want to see and feel in this life. Your imagination can do anything. Realize that it is guided by your internal attention. So now that we talked about attention and how significant it is and how it's playing a huge role in your success or lack thereof right now, let's talk about the ways that you can master your attention. One way comes from Neville Goddard himself, and he talks about a technique on right before you go to bed. You're going to try to reverse your day. So what was the thing you did right before bed? What was the thing you did right before that? What was the thing you did before that? And try to literally live your day in the reverse. This is going to be obviously a challenge, or he wouldn't say that it was a way to help master your attention. Your brain's going to get distracted. Maybe you start thinking about that thing that you actually did and the experiences, or maybe a conversation you had. You're not looking to relive that. You're only looking to remember and focus your attention on everything in reverse. You're doing this right before you go to bed, and you're trying to reverse the day that you just lived. One suggestion that I have is to set a reminder in your phone. It could be once, twice, multiple times a day. It's up to you. But set that timer in. What are you feeling? Where is your attention? Is your feeling in something that you don't want to happen, having that anxiety of, oh no, this thing's gonna go bad? Or are you purely focused? Are you giving that attention to what your dream is, keeping that attention on that bucket and filling it up so it is the majority, it is the dominating part of your life? The more you can snap out and come awake to what your habits and patterns are, especially on the thought level. Quicker and quicker you can change and see where your energy and your attention is now and shift it to where you want it to go. It might take 100 times in a day. Shift it back, shift it back, shift it back. Gradually, over time, you'll learn to master your attention more and more. So before it goes off track, you can keep it on track and fortify that connection and see what that feels like to live in that reality. And then whatever it is in your life right now, you can use this technique, bring your attention to that, bring your success level up, accomplish that, have that feeling from the end, pull yourself there, and create a new reality over and over and over again. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the like if you liked it, and I will see you on the next one.